They could be wrong.
That's like a show, something I seen on Netflix, where they had this water connoisseur. They were talking about how water has different, tastes. But a common person would say water has no taste. Water's water.
Right.
So they brought these different types of waters from different parts of the world, and they were trying them out. And, for an average person, when the first time they're tasting it, they're saying, oh, wait, water's water, has no taste. But once they started trying these different waters, they realized water has a taste.
Whoa. So wait, this is like a contest? A water tasting contest?
Not really a contest, more like an experiment.
Experiment.
They wanted to show people, educate them how, no, water does have taste. You might think of, the average water you're drinking from your tap or whatever it is, just water's water.
Well, water from tap might taste like chlorine. More so than not, no?
But it does have a taste.
Oh, it's the fluoride.
It does, yeah, the fluoride, or whatever it is. It's some chemical. Or if you ever notice, like if you drink like a Poland Spring or one of these bottled waters, it tends to taste a little sweeter. You know what my preference is? It's like one of those European waters from like the Alpines.
Yeah.
Evian. It tastes a little bit saltier.
It is. And it's thicker in your mouth. You'll realize it has a different viscosity in your mouth.
That's true too. Oh. Wow. I didn't know they had like, what is it, like a contest? I didn't know they had like contests for these things.
Cool.
Yeah, well,
Did somebody win the best water? Like
they have region? Awards. I even tried it. I ordered it online. I said, let me see what it's about. There was one of them. It came from, it was like a natural hot spring that came.
Yeah.
And it had natural minerals, and supposedly, it was supposed to help, like if you had, God forbid, cholesterol or whatever it is, and all these, beneficial, magnesium, iron,
nutrients.
Yeah. And when I first drank it, I was like, whoa.
What is it
kind of
called?
like an Alka-Seltzer. It was called Vichy Catalan.
Wow.
They had a couple different ones.
It's amazing, bro.
Yeah, that sounds so cool.
It's like, wow, that's natural water that came, from the springs or, whatever the source is, but it had a different taste.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Why is it that before you go to visit another country, a lot of people will warn you, like, don't drink the water from there. Buy water. Like, buy bottled water. Why is that?
So the water might have certain microorganisms that won't sit well with your gut. And it will disrupt everything. And that's where you get like traveler's diarrhea.
Yeah.
Nothing is being processed. There's a war going on in your gut microbiome.
But it doesn't happen to the people that live there.
No, because they've adapted. They've introduced them. Now the villages in their gut microbiome get along.
Amazing.
But if there's a war going on, nobody's getting along right now. There's no digesting happening.
The more you've been around, it's kind of like the more stronger even your body is. Like, even if you want to talk about whether it's a flu, corona, whatever it is, you closing your body off and it's not being exposed to other parts of the world or other bacterias or germs or viruses, it gets weaker. And you realize people from so-called third world countries, they have a stronger kind of immune system. They're more tolerant to other viruses, bacteria. Nothing will affect them. Anything hits you, bam, you're sick.
Yeah, they have diverse microorganisms to be able to, fight things off a lot more. Like when children play in the dirt when they're young, they're actually introducing these microorganisms inside to help their immune system fight things off. But if they've never had any contact with germs and bacteria and things of that nature, they're weaker.
Like a newborn, zero. The immune system,
Yep.
fresh, brand new.
No diversity.
Hasn't been exposed to anything.
So the longer you might stay in that region wherever they're telling you not to drink the water, you'll adapt. Your body will adapt to it. And then you'll become one of them. I notice this whenever I travel to certain places. I think I can smell those bacteria. Personally. I think everyone has like a certain kind of smell.
That can be it.
And I think it has something to do with it. Like it just spews out of their pores. And maybe it could be off-putting to you or not, but it's just different. But once you become adapted to yours, like you don't smell yours or even the people around you in your region, you don't smell it on them. But when you go in a different region, you smell theirs. And after a little while, I start to notice that smell starts to come out of my pores. And I think those microorganisms have been introduced into me.
I agree with that.
All right. You notice that?
100%.
Like maybe if you go back home to Jordan and you see like they smell a little different. They got different microorganisms here. Right?
100%. That's very true.
Like when I used to live in Pakistan, I remember if I would have like a relative come back and visit, they would smell different. Even though they're a relative, but they would smell so different. It's like, where do you come from? Ah, that place smells like you.
Oh, wow.
Right?
It's funny, even their bags would have a certain smell.
Oh, my God.
Right.
The bag would smell, not like a bad smell.
No, but
It's
it
just
smells
different.
like
Yeah.
back home.
Just had a different
Yeah.
smell.
It's just different.
Every place has its, certain.
Yeah.
They're microscopic, I think. But we can definitely sense it through smell.
We're walking viruses.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that said we are like more cells of those bacteria than we are of our own body. Like some significant amount different.
Yeah. There's thousands of viruses in your body.
Yeah.
And your body is constantly trying to decode these viruses, trying to figure out certain viruses,
The funny thing is the good and the bad are both needed for you to be in a state of homeostasis where everything is working well inside your body. You need the bad ones and you need the good ones. You can't have just good ones and you can't have just bad ones. How funny is that? Sometimes I try to look at life that way, for everything to be in a state of homeostasis, everything to be working, you need the right side and you need the left side too. I look at politics too that way now. When I look at it, it's like you need the liberals and you need the conservatives too. You can't have just one. They need to balance each other out.
Agreed.
You need to work in order to have that vacation. Because if you didn't work, I don't even think you could call it a vacation. It'll be a trip.
100%.
Your day off. What's a day off going to be if you're not working?
There's a balance in the world.
What do you guys think about that new vaccine that's coming out? Are you guys taking it?
I'm going to be the first one in line.
Well, now they're kind of forcing you, right? Everybody's so tired.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean forcing it? We're not going to be obligated to take it.
Oh, that's not what you think.
Really?
Oh, I seen this coming.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's gonna, sooner or later, you're gonna have to, they're gonna introduce it into the schools, and they're gonna tell you, yeah, if you want your child to come in, instead of doing digital, your child is gonna need the vaccine. If you want to take a trip somewhere, if you want to visit a country, they already got the vaccine cards. So what do you think they got the vaccine cards for? Everything is becoming a step up right now. Like I sent you guys the picture of that sticker that I had to put on my chest. So before I made a delivery in the supermarkets, what they would do is the receiver who's receiving the product would have a temperature gun, and he would just go, oh, okay, boop, all right, your temperature is 97.1. All right, go ahead. Now, what the supermarkets are doing is what I explained to you guys earlier, which is it's a machine, futuristic looking thing, and you stand right in front of it, and it scans you. It tells you if you're
Scan.
healthy or not.
Wait,
It
what?
doesn't even tell you your temperature, okay?
How does it scan? What is it scanning?
It scans you. It's your face.
It scans your face.
It scans your face while you're wearing the mask. And then you put your name. I forgot. That might have been date of birth. I'm not even sure. Your name and then your cell phone number. And then it prints out this sticker with your face on it and like health mark. And then if it's a check, if it's not good, it might show an X. So now I'm like, all right, these places are stepping up their equipment. So it doesn't seem like this is going to be just flatten the curve and wear a mask. We'll get this thing over with. You know, if they're readjusting, it doesn't seem like it's going to go anywhere.
What do you think if it's not looking for temperature, what is it looking for? What do you think it's looking for?
No. It does take your temperature.
So probably only temperature. Well, what else could they be looking at your face if they're scanning? What are they scanning?
No, I'm not saying that they're looking for something. I'm just saying it doesn't even tell you the temperature that it's taking. I wish I would have saved the sticker. I would have showed you. But it just says, actually, you guys probably still have
the picture in the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I remember seeing it was like your face. It's like an ID picture, right? And I don't know what else it said on it. I read Turing, Turing, and I quickly Googled Turing, and it said an artificial intelligence test to see if it acts like a human. And I thought, whoa, we're gonna go Eddie Bravo on this. But no, man, I'm not taking that vaccine if it's not like maybe they won't mandate it, right? But they'll find a loophole in where you'll think, all right, freak it, just give it to me. I want to do this. Don't take that away from me. Like I want to be able to go to a concert, or I want to sit at a restaurant. And if you don't have the ID card, then you can't do that.
yeah.
That sucks.
It was all pre-planned.
You know, it's kind of like before when you go on a roller coaster and you're scared as a child, and then you see other kids your age doing it. You're kind of like, oh, okay, they survived. I could do this.
Yeah, that's not the reason why I wouldn't want to take it, though. I wouldn't want to take it if it's like not needed. Like say, I feel like I had it, and I fought it off. Right? Don't they say it was like 99.7 survival rate, and nothing will happen to you? So then, just the same way, I don't get the flu shot. I don't get the flu shot because I think I've gotten it one time, and if anything, I got sick after I got the flu shot, and it was like horrible. And I said, all right, next year I'm not doing this. This is so stupid. I just introduced the virus into me. Like, imagine I wasn't going to get it. And now I did it deliberately, and it made me feel worse. And after that, I don't take flu shots throughout the year, and, you know, I'll sometimes go like 3-4 years without ever catching a cold. And I'm okay. The same reason, if I survive this, and you know, I'm not gonna pass it on to somewhere else, or even if it's like new strands or whatnot, I think I'll take my chances on my immune system.
Because your immune system is designed, you know, when the bacteria or viruses go in,
right,
from your nose, your mouth, you know, your immune system kind of puts up a shield. Okay, there's an intruder coming in. But when you go through a vaccine or a needle, it goes straight into your bloodstream.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of shocks your immune system. It's like, wait, where the heat coming from? You know, where this enemy coming from?
Yeah.
So it's not
It's straight intravenous of some sort, like
Yeah.
intramuscular.
Your system doesn't recognize this enemy that's approaching.
Mm.
You know, kind of get, like you said, they're taken off guard. And if you know, if it's a 98 or 99% survival rate, and that means that 98% of people that catch the virus are going to defeat the virus.
Yeah, they're gonna win.
But the vaccine is 94%?
Yeah, something like that, like 95.
Okay, so what's like that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Are you speaking about a certain age category? The
No,
98%?
no, it's 99. I'm almost 100%
Like
sure
20
there's
to
like
30-year-olds?
99.7 or 9% survival rate on the coronavirus.
Of all humans?
Of
or
all,
what?
of course, of all humans.
So
you
no age.
No, I don't think it's like age specific as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, or somebody could Google it to check if I'm not just talking out of my ass. But I could have sworn I've seen that.
Yeah, no, I seen that too. What do you think, man?
I think I had it. In March, for about 2 to 2.5 weeks, I didn't have any taste or smell of anything. I could be taking a shit and I have no idea. Couldn't smell it. Couldn't, even if you hit me in the face with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you never.
I've never experienced something of that sort. My sense of smell is very high end. Even when I'm sick and clogged nose, I can still smell.
But when you have a flu, don't you lose your taste and smell anyway?
Yeah.
But not to that extent. It wasn't to that.
Something new.
No, it wasn't to that extent. Like I couldn't taste anything, and I had fever for like a couple of hours, and I think I took Tylenol or Aleve, something of that sort, and I was fine. But the loss of smell and taste that lasted for me for 2.5 weeks. I couldn't smell anything. I couldn't taste anything. I would be drinking coffee with a lot of sugar in it.
A lot of people called this, man. A lot of people called this. And some that you might say, or a lot of people might say, conspiracy theorists. They told you, hey, listen, A, B is going to happen. And it's exactly how it happened.
Give me an example.
For example, guys, listen, wake up. First we're going to shut down for 2 weeks. We're going to flatten the curve. Then the mandatory masks came. Then shut down for 6 months, and then now 8 months, and now we need a vaccine. And then even if we need a vaccine, we're still going to be wearing masks. And
It's kind of like they keep pulling it slowly and slowly.
Yeah.
Like I heard the governor saying, oh, by next winter, we'll have Broadway shows open again. And by next summer, we'll have such and such open again. Next summer comes, next winter comes.
But if you're good boys and girls, then maybe, right? And then you have somebody like Bill Gates, who was the founder of Microsoft, come and act like he's the Lord and Savior. And he did, and they founded the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And now it's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna figure this thing out for you guys. We got the cure. Don't worry about it. Okay. It's like going to get your pool pulled out but you go to the mechanic. Like nobody really questions that,
Right.
yeah. And
So give me an example. Who called it? Like who called? Like who predicted the pandemic?
a lot of independent thinkers, a lot of alternative news outlets, independent thinkers. Not CNN, not
Definitely not the mainstream. Yeah.
So you can't really rely on these people, right? Because they're obviously
They're considered cuckoo in our society, so people tend to just dismiss what they're saying. But can you give me an example? Any names that we can all?
no names. I don't want to mention
You don't want
any
names?
names.
Yeah. Okay. So you've heard other people's. What did they predict? That there was going to be a pandemic, a global pandemic.
There was going to be certain things that were going to happen to the world that is going to alter our reality, basically, that will bring us into a new world. And this is what they want to label it as, because you have to pay attention to language. They called it the new normal before we even started figuring out what the hell this virus was all about. How'd you know this?
You know what's funny? When the first, like in the beginning stages, when coronavirus happened, and all the celebrities came out and they wanted to give their 2 cents in about what's happening. And I remember this video with Madonna, what was she calling it? The great. They were all calling it the great.
The Beast.
Equalizer.
Oh, the great.
Remember that?
Yes.
And she made like this creepy video, in where she's taking a bath, and she's naked with rose petals all around and candles, and she's talking about the great equalizer and how it doesn't judge, it kills whomever. And I'm looking at this video of Madonna talking about this virus, this global pandemic that we're happening right now, as if it's like some sort of heartthrob celebrity, glorifying it, talking about it in a beautiful fashion. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Nobody finds this weird? Imagine we did that with polio or AIDS, or I don't know, pick any other flu shot that we
the rose
get.
petals, and she's
AIDS is the great equalizer. Kills, it rids humanity of all disease. So what the hell is she talking about? Nobody finds this video creepy. But yeah, man, I feel like they kind of give you these subliminal messages through media outlets.
Hollywood movies.
Hollywood movies is a huge one. Commercials, you name it, shows, music videos. That's a big one. Because when you're listening to music and you're sort of in a lullaby, you're just taking in the information, it's storing it to your subconscious, and now you've normalized it when it happens later on. So now when it happens, your subconscious mind already knows some piece of information. What did they call it? Predictive programming, right? So now when it actually happens, you think, oh yeah, this happened before. This is normal. This is supposed to happen almost. It's not much of a shock. It doesn't come to you as a shock, and then you don't really have a reaction. Like say you had a dream last night that you were going to get kidnapped tomorrow. But that dream was so vivid that it actually kind of happened. And then in the next day, we wake up and it starts to happen. You almost sort of like were prepared for it. So you don't shock too much. You don't get shocked too much. You don't really have much of a reaction or expression. It's the same concept.
Predictive programming.
Especially after 2004, all of a sudden Hollywood just went down the drain. Every movie's about aliens coming out of out of nowhere.
You notice that?
World is drowning.
Complete psychological warfare.
Yeah, same story in every movie.
Race wars.
Guys ran out of ideas.
Pandemics.
What about that new movie? You seen the trailer for that new movie? About like COVID-21 or something like that?
Way. Is that obvious?
Come on, man. People are freaking...
I remember a couple years back, I saw a video. I saw a poster of like what seemed to be a race war between black people and white people. And I thought, wouldn't it be funny if this actually happens like a couple years down the line? And here we are in 2020. And I was like, oh wow, I feel like I kind of saw this coming.
Yeah. Yeah. So when it happens, you accept it. That's how they look at it. Because
I want to believe that it was organic. Things happen and people finally got fed up. And that's where it came out into the media outlets, and a global uproar started to happen. I want to believe that it happened organically, and simultaneously everybody's just sick of this shit. And the fact that it was recorded and everybody did get to see it, that's what created something. But a part of me inside is saying that they could have chosen to suppress it if they wanted to. The media outlets. Just like they have a million times before. This is not the first time something like this has gone wrong, But I felt like it was like serendipity. They saw the opportunity, and from there on forward, they chose to blow it up to get a reaction, to get people out in the streets, to create chaos in a way. So they get to come out with their guns blazing. Show off their muscle. Like there's so much going on now.
who would be surprised these days? Who would be surprised? It's just, we consume too much.
You know what it's kind of like? It's kind of like me grabbing freezing water and throwing it at you 5 in the afternoon. Yeah, it's going to be cold. But if I threw that freezing water at you 6 in the morning as soon as you got up, how's that going to feel? It's going to feel really cold. So that's how it kind of is.
Mm.
You know, we've been through so much this year, whether it's emotionally, physically, people's jobs, the news, the elections, the media, whatever it is, where it's kind of like whatever hits you later, that's not going to be as bad.
Numb. You're numb. Okay. A lot of people forget about this realm has a lot more to do than just your own thoughts. The world isn't just what is going on in your brain. There's a lot of people who shut out the world. There's a lot of people who want to be numb. There's a lot of people who don't want to believe. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist out there. So when we talk about, let's say, cognitive dissonance, okay? So people have cognitive dissonance. And what is that? That's basically somebody saying, I smoke cigarettes because it feels good. But I know it's killing me. Okay? Or another example, let's say I'm working at a car dealership and my boss is pressing me on how I should sell this car to these customers, but I know this car is broke. I know it's broken down. So when that cognitive dissonance kicks in, it's that voice within you that says, man, I feel bad. Should I let these people know? And sometimes you'll be like, hey, listen, let me show you another car. And at the same time, that cognitive dissonance says, I shouldn't really feel that bad. I mean, these customers should know better. They should have done their history. Or you'll start making things up to the point where it's like the serial killer who will look himself in the mirror and say, I'm a good person. You know, you start making excuses on why certain things are the way they are. Right? And I feel like that's what's happening now. Where's that cognitive dissonance? Where is that? We all know and feel that something is not right, but we really can't put our finger on it.
Especially because it's new. It's new for the whole world.
It's new for the whole world.
And it happens every day. For example, I went to buy a piece of fish, salmon, the other day, and they had Scottish salmon, organic salmon, Canadian farm salmon, Norwegian farm salmon. So I wanted the freshest product. So I asked the guy behind the counter, I told him, which one of these is the freshest? He said, oh, they're all fresh. They're all fresh. But when I pushed them a little more, I said, okay, they're all fresh, but which one would you say is the freshest? Then they weren't all fresh. He pointed to one. He said, oh, this one, because it moves a lot. So that's how it kind of is. Once I pushed them, I said, no, which one? Okay, they're all fresh.
That's right.
So that's how it kind of is.
That's exactly it. So when you say, guys, look, you believe that whether we want to have a discussion, the masks do work, the masks don't work, that's fine. That's okay. If you're okay with being a lab rat, be my guest. You want to take the vaccine? Okay, you have every right to take the vaccine. But I have every right not to. And I think that's where we reach that place where it becomes problematic, because then you're left with no choices. It's like they keep on taking and taking and taking and taking. And if you say that governments mean well and they will not lie to you, then you don't know history. That's not the case. We have to really open our minds and try to figure out, like, okay, certain things they say make sense. Certain things they say are absolutely absurd. We all know governors came and said, you guys should do this and do that, and they do the opposite. All right? Or when they tell you you're allowed to go on the beach, but you're not allowed to sit on the sand. Where is your rationality? Where's the rational part in your brain that says, no, that doesn't make sense?
Just last week, they exposed 2 governors after going on live TV and telling the people to stay indoors and this and that, and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
They found them in restaurants and at a resort or at a beach.
Yes.
And then the next day later, governor comes on live TV. I'd like to sincerely apologize. I'd like to practice what I preach.
Exactly. And this is the thing, like, people are like, are we really going to be those sheep that are going to be led to the slaughterhouse? Really? So when I go into when one of the governor of New York comes and says, I encourage people to take public transportation. Everything is safe. So the subway carts are jam-packed like sardines.
Oh, I seen it today, the MTA bus.
Yeah.
Like sardines.
Like
the
sardines.
local business down the block.
20% capacity.
10 or 15 people.
How does that make any sense to you?
All right, you're supposed to stay 6 feet apart, huh? Whatever happened to that?
Whatever happened to social distancing, right?
Yeah, it makes no sense. Or like, you guys ever seen in restaurants? You can't be inside, but then you could be outside. Okay, but now it's cold out, and now they're creating huts outside. So you're just inside, outside. It makes no sense.
It's kind of like it doesn't make sense.
Right. You know, just go home.
It's kind of like
just shut it down.
Like, they came to my business the other day. They told me, look, you got to put tape on the floor for social distancing.
Right.
So people could stay apart.
They came to your store?
Yeah. So I bought blue tape and I started putting it on the floor 6 feet. And they're telling me at the entrance when they're coming in, you need to put tape. So they want people coming in like robots, 6 feet apart. When you're walking into a store, that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we get it. Okay, there's a virus. We want to thank the doctors or whoever it is that's really putting their effort,
100%.
their lifelong skills, to help human beings, to help people.
Right.
Good
and
point.
we're willing to cooperate as human beings to really get over this.
But let's not be silly.
Let's not be silly. Where things make sense, we're first in line.
Yeah. I love those ones that you see people that they're in their own car by themselves, windows rolled up, and they're still wearing the mask.
And gloves.
You ever see? Oh my God, that really gets me. It's like, dude, you're not around anybody. You're not going to get it from anybody. You're not going to pass it on to anybody.
Now, some people may say you don't know if this person has a history with like certain disease or okay.
But in his own car,
yeah,
you're hundreds of feet apart from other people.
There's no one around you.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. Well, they're trying to be extra good.
Because it becomes psychological. Every time you leave your house now, all of us, you got to bring your mask as if it's your jacket or as if it's your hat. It's a part of you now.
Yeah. There's so many things to remember now as you're leaving the house. You got to get the keys. Okay, that's good. You get the keys. Now you got to get the cell phone. Okay, got that too. Now you got to get your wallet. Now you got to get your jacket. You got to have your clothes. And now your mask too. My God, it's getting exhausting.
Yeah.
And what's next?
The thing is, it's like they have you fear complete healthy people. You know, it's like first it was like Islamophobia, then it was like I don't know what type of phobia, and now it's like, all right, let's see, human, what do they call that? Like human phobia or something like that. Now we're gonna be like, and you're constantly like worried about
Other humans.
yeah.
There's a new normal that they're creating, and they're creating us to be antisocial. I don't know if you guys noticed this. Now, when we interact with other people, we don't even make eye contact with the other person. Somebody walks by you, you just look down, and you kind of feel ashamed to look at them. You know, I literally had people come around me in a way, and if they didn't have the mask, they just look at me like this, and they'll start going like I'm spitting fire at them, or so, you know, they're just covering themselves and they're looking at me. I'm like, I can't believe this is our new interaction from here on forward, and the fact that people think it's normal. You know,
No, I don't want to live this way, man.
no, man. But this is the new normal from here on
Everybody
forward.
is afraid of dying, right? Everybody's afraid of dying, but you're creating a life that's not worth living at this point. At this point, I'm not afraid of the death of my body. I'm afraid of something dying within me, man. It's just
It's slowly happening.
I had customers complain to me, man, like opening up to me, like saying, "Look, I'm alone at home. I don't have nobody. I've been going through a hard time. People are going through depressing times."
Dude, that's the real pandemic. Loneliness. Because we created such an environment that's so antisocial. You know, loneliness is, I read somewhere, more lethal than smoking cigarettes and obesity. I think obesity, but it's as lethal as smoking like 15 cigarettes a day. That's crazy. Like, because we're intrinsically within our nature, we're social beings. In order for us to be normal, quote unquote, or a healthy human being, you have to be a social person. Right? You need to be with your family, you need to be with your friends, and that will create normality within your brain. You know, you don't start to become cuckoo. Think about it. The thing that's the worst is when you put someone away from everybody. You put a child on his timeout, he's just not talking to anyone, and he's being completely antisocial. That's like physically painful. And now in this new normal society, what we're coming down to is this loneliness epidemic.
It's a form of torture.
Yeah.
how do they discipline an inmate in jail? What do they do?
It's like 23-hour lockdowns, which is
Solitary confinement.
Solitary confinement is what they call it.
Hey, how about a child? You put them in timeout,
Right.
alone. You can't be around anybody. Go to your room.
You know the suicide rates right now? Depression, anxiety, all these things don't matter.
Oh, they don't talk about it.
No, they won't talk about them. Another thing they won't talk about is that they'll show you just like this number system. If you turn on the news,
Like it's sports.
Yeah, like it's sports. It's a constant watch. It's constant number that you have to see the number going
Breaking
up.
records.
Look at the number going up.
Breaking records.
Look at the number
Where's
going
the
up.
curve?
Remember the
Curve's
number.
up here.
And then they never talk about the numbers of people who caught the virus and that are getting better.
Well, election time, it disappeared. Where'd it go?
All right.
Where'd the numbers go? Where'd all the talk go?
How about at the rallies?
Rallies,
People getting
protests.
together.
No, they don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
COVID doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I don't like that hypocrisy. You know, keep it consistent. If you truly do believe it, then do it in everything. Like, keep your precautions and everything. I don't know if you guys notice this, especially like I've noticed this around my friends and loved ones. They have like selective precautions. You know, if they don't want to meet somebody, it's like, oh, COVID. You know, I care for you as much as I care for myself. So I think it's better that we don't see each other, you know, just conveniently. And then the people who they do want to see or want to be around, or if it's like a need, it's a necessity, they tend to just, you know, alter their values and standards for that time. COVID's really revealed a lot, I think, in people. It just shows you like how people really are. No? Have you guys noticed that too?
How people really are? I don't think that. I think that it showed you how weak-minded human beings can be.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, for example, I'll join you on this ride. So I go to a family member's house, and they would rather not shake your hand. Okay, hi, how you doing? You know, you got to respect everybody. Okay. But now, I'm still in your environment. We're sitting a couple feet apart. I'm opening the same doorknob you're holding. You're going to touch. I'm touching. But the shake hand thing is like, it's like, don't shake hands. Okay, don't shake hands. But I'm think this way. Okay, think this way. So I'm wondering if, let's say tomorrow, the news comes out and says, guys, I think we're okay now. I think it's okay to take off the masks. How fast do you think people would do that and feel a lot more better at ease?
I think it's going to take some time because now we've also got conditioned and people got adapted.
It's crazy how we adapt.
Yeah. I think now the mask might give you a false sense of security that, oh, you're safer. You're not getting as much bacteria now. It's like probably worse.
Well, it was so annoying at first. Now I wear it every day like nothing.
Do you? I don't wear it, man. If I'm 6 feet apart, I like to just keep it. Especially if I'm outside. I don't have to. If I have to go inside to a place and they're not gonna let me in, I'll put it on for that time being.
If I'm outside, not around anybody.
Or 6 feet apart, even within my own business. With the glass there, I don't need to wear it. Why do I need to wear it?
Why do so many people get anxiety? Why do so many people have anxiety or developed anxiety during this time? You want to know why? It's because people are afraid of the unknown. We're beings that always want to be knowing of our environment. Whenever we have that lost sense of security, of not knowing anything, it bothers us. So that's what they're doing. It's like, oh, you don't know. We don't know. They're constantly in the, we don't know what's going to happen type thing. And then they never speak about hope. Hope is a beautiful thing. There was a test that they done on these mice, and the test was that they would put these mice in pots of water, and they would want to see and time them to find out how long would it take for the mouse or the mice to drown. Okay, so right before the mouse would appear to be drowning, they would take him out. So when they put this to the test, what happened was that the time where they figured out the mice were swimming long enough to the point of drowning was 9 minutes, and they would take them out. When they done it the second time, they realized that the mouse or the mice were swimming for an extra minute or two, and then they would take them out. And they would do it again, and the mouse would swim longer, and they realized that the reason for the mice swimming longer than the first time and the second time was that the mice had a sense of hope that they were going to be taken out at the very last second of their end time. So they would give that extra push in order for them to find that one savior or one thing that's going to save their lives. And that's with mice. And we're human beings. When you give no hope, we lose control. We lose our inner strength. Right? So we need these news outlets, we need media, we need politicians to start giving people hope, because a lot of people are dealing with way more than you would think this
100%.
virus is.
Just the other day, I went to buy some lights for the store, and I walked into an electric shop, and the guy had some, holiday or Christmas songs playing, and I realized one of them, and there was like a screen that had the name of the song and the artist, and it sounded like a classic, and the guy was singing along to it, and I was like, wow, man. I was like, I kind of smiled. I was like, that's a classic. He's like, oh yeah, that's definitely a classic, man. And that's all I said, but he just opened up to me. He was like, that's definitely a classic, man. Screw everything, man. Screw the politics. Screw Biden and Trump. They're in their mansions. They're doing what they're doing. We're over here working, doing what we do. I got my daughter. She's 3 years old, man. She just makes me forget about everything, and that's my happiness, man. I go home to her, and I forget the world, and yeah, man. And he was like, anything else you need, buddy? I was like, no, that's it. All right, man. You have a blessed day. Thank you so much. Take care. And he kind of like had this energy to him where he was like happy.
He uplifted you.
He uplifted me, and I felt like he was uplifting himself. And all I said was, wow, man, that's a classic. That's a classic song. And it was kind of his way of maybe for him to forget or for him to feel better.
That just shows you, man, we're social beings. We need social interactions in order to be happy, in order to be normal. If you don't have that, you just start to get depressed. And what happens with depression? You get like suicidal thoughts. You want to kill yourself. You don't want to be here anymore. All from not socializing.
I mean, sit in a room with people smiling around you. You don't even have to do the experiment. This is a fact. Sit in a room with 10 individuals around you with a smile. Or they're conversing with you and you're having a good conversation and you're laughing. Compared to you sitting in a room with 10 faces looking at you with a grin or a frown. And see how your mood is going to change. So imagine that happening on the everyday basis or the weekly basis where you're around either negative people or people that are not happy or people that are trying to put you down. How is that going to affect you? How is that going to feel?
Oh, majorly. We're all going to get depressed. Because now it's at a level of a community. And then it's going to get to a level of a state. And then it's going to get to a level of a country. Now it's at a level of global. That's how everyone's going to be, no matter where you go. They're going to treat you like you have some sort of disease. And they need to protect themselves and you from it.
That's where they say everything starts from within. You change yourself, and then your family members in your household, and then your relatives, and then your community or society, and then your state or your country. It's like a web that opens out.
Man, I'm waiting for the aliens to come now. They're coming any minute.
So it's that uplifting. You need uplifting people. Let's take the scenario that we're in today, right? The days of our lives. Now let's take somebody from the 17th century. Before technology, before radio waves, whatever you want. And imagine he sees somebody with a guitar on the side of the road, playing his guitar and singing a tune. Na, 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 li, li. Okay, that's nice. He's passing by. Yeah, that's nice. Very good for you, sir. Then the guy with the guitar starts following this man around. and just playing the guitar, singing. He's like, okay, yeah, all right. Then he's outside his house. He's still playing and singing. Then the guy leaves his house. He wants to go shopping. Now he's following the guy when he's out shopping, buying his groceries, playing the guitar and singing. Then on his way back home. And then eventually he's like, yo, stop. Right? Like that's a bit too much. You start getting a headache. Now that's the same thing that we go through. You get in your car, some guy singing in your head constantly. All right. You go get your groceries. You walk into the supermarket. What are they playing? Music. You leave the supermarket. You go get gas. They're playing music at the pumps.
Yeah.
That's not normal. Like, is that okay? So, and then you know, some people go home, and it's like
Put it on themselves.
Now imagine the same guy wakes up the next morning. Remember how they used to have those paper boys? You know, read all about it. Blah, 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 you know, China. You know, conflict with. You had a paper boy right there on the side of the road selling a newspaper for a dime. Now imagine that paper boy following you around everywhere you went. Did you hear about this? Did you hear about Russia? Did you hear about the new virus? Did you hear about it? And you're like, yo, get the hell out of here. If I want the news, I'll freaking buy the paper from you. Stop following me around everywhere I go. The point is, this is what we are dealing with today as human beings. We're being bombarded. Our brains, our senses, our thoughts, our feelings. We need a break. But the question is, how are we going to get that break? What do you think?
I have no idea how we're going to get that break. But yeah, you're right about constantly being bombarded now when you don't even want to be fed that news. It's overly saturated wherever you go. That's the only topic.
Yeah. We need some hope, man. We need some free thinkers, man.
Free thinkers?
Yeah, we need some independent thinkers.
That are not abiding by the corporate confines.
That's it. Just like this right now. We're having a discussion. There's no agenda.
Right.
We got this camera on. We got these microphones. And we're just talking like the way we usually talk. And there's a lot of people out there like that. And I think that's a good thing. But you're waiting for aliens. What's up with those things that are popping up everywhere? What is that? What are they called?
Monoliths. Those monolithic structures. Silver.
Yeah. What the hell is that all about?
I read somewhere that it said it was supposed to be I think there was a movie or a book, 2001 Space Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it. They were saying that it was a structure that was found, something like that, in the movie. And maybe somebody's pulling a prank.
It's gotta be.
You think it's just a prank?
They came out of nowhere and they disappeared as well.
Like within a day?
Oh.
They organized it in Romania and California and Utah. For a prank? A 13 to 15 foot monolithic metal structure. You think so? I don't know, man. It's like the crop circles. Okay, they found somebody to come out and say, "Oh yeah, we coordinated it all with just like one leaf raker." Come on, man. Really?
We're living in the Matrix. You know what's funny about the Matrix?
Things like glitches happening right now.
No. You know what's funny? Keanu Reeves was doing an interview, and he said that the Matrix wasn't a movie. It was more like a documentary.
I don't like that thought, man. It messes with my head. It's like, where are we? Are we here? Are we somewhere else? Where the hell are we? I don't like that thought.
Sometimes you gotta really think. Like, I don't want, it's so freaking weird, man. I like those old days. The good old days. You know what's funny about the good old days? Right now is the good old days. Because a year from now, we're going to be looking back at this.
What's funny? I look at it like pre-COVID now as the good old days.
That's true.
It's the good old days for me. When you could just not wear a mask and go inside the gym.
Jeez,
and not have somebody look at you weird or a restaurant.
I mean, every picture I look at now where I see a group of people, and whether it's an event, venue, or game, you're like, wow. That was amazing, man. We're blessed.
Untouchable those days.
We're privileged.
You don't know what you got until it's gone.